Thank you, conference, and if we could give our platform a round of applause as they. And now we begin the Safe Streets debate, and we're going to welcome immediately to the stage our Deputy Prime Minister and the Secretary of State for Justice, David Lammy.
Conference, can I begin by thanking a rising star of the Labour movement, the former Justice Secretary, now Home Secretary, who did so much to lift our country out of the prisons emergency that we inherited, Shabana Mahmood. And also my wonderful ministerial team, Sarah Sackman, James Timpson, Alex Davies-Jones, Jake Richards and Alison Levitt. Thank you so much. Thank you. Conference friends, I was raised by a strong single mother who often struggled to put food on the table. But she fought hard to give her children the best start she could. So I know what a real working class hero looks like when I see one. And in recent years, I've had the honour of working alongside one of those heroes. Someone who got Britain building again, won new rights for working people, and is the beacon of working women across our nation. Conference, join me in thanking Angela Rayner for all she has done and all she will continue to do. And let us pay tribute to another working class hero, a titan of our party. He helped deliver the Kyoto Climate Change Agreement. He helped deliver devolution in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. He helped us win 3 general elections. We lost him last November, but he left an indelible mark on our movement and our country. Former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott. And now I want to tell you a story about the difference that the Labour government makes. When I was back in opposition, I visited Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. It was a year before the horror of October the 7th, before Hamas terrorists killed and took so many Israeli hostages, before the devastating loss of Palestinian lives Israel has caused in Gaza. I met with the then Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority. He looked me in the eye and he asked me one question. If Labour win, will you stick to your party's commitment to recognise a state of Palestine? I said we would. The Tories opposed it, Reform opposed it, but last week we honoured our commitment. Britain now recognises the state of Palestine. This is the difference. A Labour government wakes. This horrific war must end. The hostages must be released. We need a two-state solution because the Palestinian cause is a just cause. Israelis and Palestinians must be able to live side by side in peace with equal rights, equal dignity, equal freedom. Conference, governing in hard times is not new to our party and to our movement. In 1947, as Attlee's Labour governed out of the ashes of the Second World War, rationing continued to bite and the public was growing weary. But did Attlee, Bevin, Morrison wring their hands? No, they built the National Health Service, new towns and the welfare state. In 1967, Harold Wilson's Labour faced devaluation, and the very next year, the ugly rise of Enoch Powell. Did Wilson retreat? No. He championed the white heat of technology, the open university, the Equal Pay Act. And back in 2000, when I entered Parliament, Tony Blair's Labour at that point was facing fuel protests. And you might remember the Women's Institute booed Tony at a conference speech. Did we give up? No. We held our nerve, we kept Britain moving, record investments in schools, in hospitals, the minimum wage, Sure Start for every single child. This is Labour's story. Not ducking hard choices, but facing them down. And today we are showing that leadership again. Don't let our opponents tell you the Labour government has not made a difference. Don't let them tell you there's no difference between us and the other side. Don't let them pretend all politicians are the same. We aren't. Remind them of everything we've done already in the first year. 5 interest rate cuts. The fastest growth in the G7. Wages rising more than 10 times over this last 10 months than the Tories in the last 10 years. We're cutting NHS waiting lists. We said 2 million extra appointments. We delivered 5 million. We gave parents 30 hours extra of free childcare, saving them up to £7.5 grand a year. We signed trade deals with the EU, with the US, with India. We reformed planning, unlocking billions, delivering the highest house building in decades. That's the difference a Labour government makes. And Conference, I know that you know, after my friend Khadija Say died on the 9th floor of Grenfell Tower along with 71 others, I was the first to call for an inquiry. You also know that after my parents' generation, the Windrush generation, who gave so much but took so little, were stripped of their rights, deported, detained, denied housing, healthcare, and work, I led the campaign for justice. So it was the honour of my life in my first weeks as Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary to meet with the Hillsborough families and bring the Hillsborough Law to Parliament. So here in Liverpool, I say working people seeking justice will never walk alone again. That is the difference a Labour government makes. That is the difference a Labour government makes. That is the difference a Labour government makes. And friends, when you see Nigel Farage measuring the curtains of Downing Street, look around the world. In Australia, Labour trailed by 10 points until they won. In Canada, the Liberals 20 points behind until they won. In Norway, just a few weeks ago, Labour 16 points behind until they won. The lesson is clear. Progressives win when they follow the North Star of our values and the guardrails of our realism. Not through scapegoats, not through stunts, but through hope, purpose and progress. My first task as your Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Secretary is to bring these values to our justice system. Justice has been the constant thread throughout my life. Growing up in the shadow of Tottenham's Broadwater Farm estate in Thatcher's Britain, it wasn't easy. I was stopped and searched by the police. I saw too many people who looked like me who ended up on the wrong side of the law. But education gave me a different path. I studied law, I practiced as a young lawyer, I served as a minister, I led the review into racial disparities in the justice system. I shadowed the Justice Secretary in opposition. This is not just another brief for me, it feels like coming home. Conference, in taking the role of Lord Chancellor, my starting point is Magna Carta. No one is above the law. No one should have justice delayed. No one should have justice denied. And yet under the Conservatives, prisons were bursting at 99% capacity. Courts had record backlogs, rape victims waiting for years before their case came to trial. Legal aid deserts right across the country, probation officers at breaking point. Justice delayed and justice denied. That is the Tory legacy we have been left to fix. So, Conference, this is how we're going about putting it right. First, we've got to rebuild trust, because justice is not a slogan. It means the victim heard, not silenced. The woman fleeing violence safe, not turned away. The community protected, not paying $18 billion a year for reoffending. We will strengthen victims' rights. We will open up the courts to people so they serve them. We will crack down on illicit finance. And second, we will modernize justice. Probation officers have told me, help us spend less time on form filling and more time on changing people's lives. So we will use technology for people, not against them. AI to cut paperwork, electronic tags to keep communities safe, digitalized courts that deliver justice without delay. And third, punishment that works. In 14 years, the Tories built just 500 extra prison places. In 14 months, we've delivered 2,500, and we're on track for 14,000 extra prison places by 2031. The fastest prison building programme since the Victoria age. We're recruiting thousands more probation officers. And let me just say, we in this room know that probation officers are the unsung heroes of our justice system. We're reforming sentencing, so justice is not just about locking people up, but turning lives around. If you go to prison addicted, we will help you clean up. If you go into prison without skills, we will help you train up. And if you go into prison without a chance, we will give you an opportunity. Our Labour Party will never give up on the power of redemption. Working hand in glove with the National Health Service, the DWP, with businesses and industry, with Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous, because justice is not the work of one minister. It is the project of a nation united in its pursuit of fairness. While others divide, we will build coalitions that work. And today I can confirm an important innovation. That's the expansion of intensive supervision courts. For too long, our criminal justice system has been stuck in a cycle. Short sentences that change nothing. The same people reoffending again and again and again. Intensive supervision courts are about breaking that cycle. They bring the full force of the courts together with local services, and they keep reoffenders coming back to face the judiciary as they turn their lives around. It's tougher, it's more demanding, but it's punishment that works. And here in Liverpool, I'm proud to announce that we will establish a new women's site. This city, once again, leading the way. And let us end the lie about one of Attlee's greatest creation, legal aid. The myth of fat cat lawyers is destructive. Legal aid lawyers are not rich. Many are paid less than nurses, teachers, and the police who rely on them in court. They are the high street lawyers of Cornwall and Tottenham, Liverpool and Leeds, serving their communities for much less than they could earn elsewhere. I'm so proud that Hillsborough Law means never again will grieving families be left without a lawyer when the state lines up against them. Conference, this marks the biggest expansion of legal aid in a generation, backed by the biggest investment in a decade. And we will champion our legal services across the world, worth £42 billion a year, employing 300,000 people, 2/3 of them outside of London, because we know when British law is strong, Britain is strong. And that's why I'm proud to announce that we are launching the new English law panel, uniting voices across the sector to promote English law worldwide as a gold standard that drives growth. Robert Jenrick, of course, doesn't get it. He sees himself next in line as Tory leader. He's so good at his job, he got Shabana a promotion. He attacks our judges and institutions. Frankly, much of what he said would make Winston Churchill shudder in his grave. Robert, patriotism isn't smearing our independent judiciary from a pub on X. It's standing up for the rule of law. Magna Carta, habeas corpus, the rule of law, they are Britain's gifts to the world. The other person who doesn't get it, of course, is Nigel Farage. He wraps himself in our flag, but his policies don't match British values. We must call his scheme to round up and deport our French, our Indian, our Caribbean neighbours who already have indefinite leave to remain what it is. It is racist. I say not in our country, not in our name, not in our time. That's the choice, Conference. Real patriotism that builds people up, or pound shop patriotism that drags Britain down. Reform choose grievance. The Tories choose anger. We choose progress. We choose hope. We choose justice, because fairness is Britain's highest value, because the rule of law is Britain's greatest gift to the world. Together we will deliver justice for all. When Keir campaigned for unemployment benefits and protections for minors, he wanted justice for all. When Harold Wilson delivered the Race Relations Act in the 1960s, he wanted justice for all. When the great Barbara Castle introduced the Equal Pay Act, she wanted justice for all. When Tony Blair created the Human Rights Act, what did he want? He wanted justice for all. When Gordon Brown created the minimum wage conference, what did he want? Justice for all. Angela Rayner brought the employment bill to Parliament this year. What did she want? Justice for all. And when Keir Starmer brought the Hillsborough Law to Parliament last week. What did he want? He wanted justice for all. Justice for all. That is what a Labour government will deliver the people of our country. Let's get to work. Thank you, Conference.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. We now begin the contemporary motion debate. We're going to hear first from delegates from composite motion on violence against women and girls, misogyny and domestic abuse. That's going to be moved by Pontypridd and then seconded by Islington South and Finsbury. So if I could please have those delegates moving towards the front of the room to register with the desk. Can I also call on the delegates from Huntington and Preston who will be moving and seconding the composite motion 3 on high streets. If you could also please come to the front of the room, register with the desk, and then we can get the debate underway. As ever, the proposers of motions will have 3 minutes to speak, followed by the seconders who will have 2. We'll then move to speeches from the floor. Welcome, delegate. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Conference. Perfect. I'm shorter than I look. Or perhaps not. Thank you, Conference. I'm proud to stand here representing Pontypridd CLP. Thank you.